National History Day, Women's Suffrage Movement and How It Changed the World by Sidney Gilliam. The women's suffrage movement is a turning point in history due to the fact that it allows women to vote, own land, and have a job, which used to be completely unheard of. The greatest day in history for women everywhere was August 18th, 1920. Women were officially granted permission to vote. Though the main soldiers in this battle, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, Susan B. Anthony, and Lucretta Mott, had already passed, their role as an extraordinary few who gained rights for all women in America today will always be held. The 70-year-long battle outlived all three of the women, and it was time that their dreams became true. The women's suffrage movement is considered a turning point in history due to the fact that it allows women to now vote. The vote in Senate was held on May 21, 1919. Mr. James R. Mann, a Republican and chairman of the Suffrage Committee, found some way to convince the House to vote in favor of him and the rest of the American women who had had enough. An amazing 42 more than the 2/3 of the House agreed to allow women to vote. The 19th Amendment was then further created, stating, "The right of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of sex." This statement means that anybody that is a citizen of the United States of America can and should vote no matter what gender they are, for it is their American right. Without the 19th Amendment, voting would be imbalanced compared to what it is now. In the 1700s, a woman owning their own property was completely unheard of. Women were considered property themselves. At that time, young girls around 15 or 16 or younger would be getting married. More than 50% of these small brides were pregnant, which was said to be what sealed the marriage. The average woman today will have her first child late 20s to mid 30s, which is 11 to 19 years more of preparation before becoming a mother. If any girls weren't married by the age of 25, it was considered socially humiliating to the father and the rest of her family. The life of a married woman was very different compared to what the standards are of today. Husbands were legally allowed to beat their wives, and if the wife made any money, it was considered her husband's earnings. If a woman was widowed, she was pressured into being married within 7 years after her husband's death, if not sooner. Most women were pressured enough that they got married within the first year of their husband's death. Today, what all the women in the 1800s did helped America move far from this logic. The workforce since the 1800s has changed tremendously for the better. Most women did all household work, such as cleaning, cooking, and tending to the children, and also sewing. Some had to work outside of the house, but didn't benefit from it because the money they earned wasn't theirs. It was their husband's. In 2010, there were 5 million stay-at-home moms compared to 71.9 million who were in the workforce. Looking back at what the classical job was for the mom then and now are totally different. Without the suffrage movement, most of women in America would still be doing the same thing that our ancestors did. In so many ways, America has come a long ways from what it used to be. One of the most historical moments was allowing women to vote, own land, work, and do anything else that a man can do, which is why the women's suffrage movement is a turning point in America's history. Happiness and moral duty are inseparably connected. George Washington.